Hey everyone, and welcome back to Everyday Empowerment English. I'm Mia.
And I'm Alex. Today we're exploring a topic that is both personal and powerful, the power of introverts.
Maybe you're listening right now and wondering, introvert, is that me? Or perhaps you already know you are an introvert. It's a word we hear a lot these days.
For a long time, people believed that success meant being outgoing and always talking. But we now know that's not true at all.
Exactly. Introverts have their own amazing strengths. Today, we're going to show you how being quiet can be a superpower, especially when it comes to learning English and in life.
So, are you ready to discover your inner introvert superpowers?
Let's get started.
So, let's start with the basics. What is an introvert? It's a word we hear a lot, but what does it really mean? It can sound a little bit official, right?
Yeah, in simple words, being an introvert means you get energy from spending time alone or in small, quiet groups. It's about where you get your energy from. And here's something important. Being an introvert doesn't mean you're shy. That's a big misunderstanding.
Right. It's a big difference. Shyness is about feeling nervous or worried around people. Introversion is just about how you recharge, like your phone battery.
Exactly. Extroverts, they usually get energy from being around lots of people, like big parties, busy social events. They are like solar panels. They soak up energy from social interaction, just like solar panels absorb sunlight.
I love that. And introverts were more like battery powered. We feel good and energized after some quiet time, such as reading a book, going for a walk in nature alone, working on a hobby project by ourselves. We recharge by having quiet, focused time.
And here's the most important part. Both introverts and extroverts are amazing. There's no better or worse way to be. The world needs both.
Okay, so introverts recharging quiet time. But how does this quietness become a superpower for learning English? This is the interesting part.
It really is. Introverts have some amazing natural strengths that make them fantastic language learners. Let's explore a few of these introvert superpowers.
Introverts are naturally good listeners. Think about it in groups who's really paying attention to the details.
It's often the introverts. They listen more than they talk, and they take time to process what they hear.
And this is fantastic for English learning. The better you listen, the more you understand.
Exactly. Good listening helps you absorb new words, new sounds, and how people speak naturally in English. Introverts are also known for their focus. It's another great strength.
A focus is so important for learning. Introverts can concentrate deeply.
Especially when they are interested in something, they can focus for a long time on one thing.
That's a big advantage for studying English. You need focus for grammar, vocabulary, listening practices. The list goes on. Well, here's another key strength. Introverts are thoughtful communicators.
A thoughtful communication. What do you mean by that?
It means introverts like to think before they speak. They don't rush to talk.
And when they do speak, their words are often well chosen and meaningful. For speaking, quality is more important than quantity. And finally, let's talk about one more key strength, being independent learners.
Right, they're often happy and comfortable learning on their own.
Definitely, many introverts love self-study, using books, apps, podcasts, and online resources to learn at their own pace.
They don't always need a traditional classroom or big study groups to succeed. They thrive by learning in a way that works best for them.
So, knowing these strengths, how can introvert English learners use them practically? Let's give some really useful tips, practical things you can do.
We talked about how introverts learn well on their own, right?
Yes, exactly. That's why our first tip is to really embrace independent study.
And create a good study routine that works for you and find a study space where you feel comfortable and focused.
You can use so many resources for self-study, online courses, apps, English books, and of course, podcasts like ours. Find what works best for you and learn at your own pace. Alex, you mentioned that introverts are natural listeners.
Definitely. So tip number 2 is to practice active listening. Use this strength and make it even stronger.
And active listening means don't just let English play in the background. Really focus when you listen.
Listen to podcasts carefully, follow stories in audiobooks, watch videos, and pay full attention. Try to catch new words, sentence patterns, and how people speak naturally. Now, here's a really helpful tip, especially for introverts. Prepare before you speak.
But that makes so much sense. Since introverts like to think before speaking, use that to your advantage.
Before an English class or conversation, take a moment to plan what you want to say.
You can practice saying key sentences in your head or even write down some phrases. A little preparation goes a long way. It helps you feel more confident and speak more clearly. And when it comes to speaking, remember, you don't have to talk the most to improve.
Totally. It's better to have quality conversations rather than just speaking all the time.
So, focus on quality over quantity. Even if your conversations aren't super long or frequent, they can still be really valuable.
Now try finding a language partner for one-on-one practice or joining small groups where you feel comfortable. Choose situations where you can listen, reflect, and express yourself thoughtfully. And finally, this is so important, remember to reward yourself with quiet time.
Especially after practicing speaking or taking a class. Make sure to schedule some quiet time to relax and refuel.
A quiet time is not just a nice break, it's actually essential for introverts to keep learning effectively.
Yes, think of quiet time as your fuel. Make time for it regularly. Protect your quiet time so you can learn your best and stay motivated.
Okay, time for our vocabulary boost. Let's learn some keywords and phrases from today's episode about the amazing power of introverts. Recharge, meaning to regain energy, to become energized again after being tired, like a battery. Example, introverts recharge by spending quiet time alone. After a busy day, you need to recharge your energy. A misunderstanding, meaning a failure to understand something correctly. A mistaken understanding. Example, it's a common misunderstanding that introverts are shy. There is a misunderstanding about what introversion really means. Absorb, meaning to take in information, ideas, or experience, often gradually. In this context, it means learning by listening. Example, good listeners absorb new words and sounds easily. Like a sponge, they absorb information. A concentrate, meaning to focus your attention completely on something. Example, introverts can concentrate deeply when they study. It's important to concentrate on your work to do it well. Thoughtful, meaning careful and serious in your thinking. Showing consideration for others. In this context, it means thinking carefully before speaking. Example, they are thoughtful communicators and plan their words. A thoughtful person always considers other people's feelings. I embrace, meaning to accept or support something enthusiastically, to make use of an opportunity willingly and eagerly. Example, embrace independent study to learn English effectively. We should embrace new challenges and learn from them. Thrive, meaning to prosper or flourish, to do well and be successful, especially as a result of favorable conditions. Example, introverts can thrive by learning in their own way. Plants thrive when they get enough water and sunlight. So, remember everyone, being an introvert is not a weakness. You have your own set of powerful skills that can help you succeed in learning English and beyond.
Yes, embrace your introversion and use your natural strengths. You don't have to change who you are.
Which introvert superpower do you recognize in yourself? Are you a great listener, a focused learner, or a thoughtful communicator? Let us know in the comments. We really want to hear from you.
And if you found these tips helpful, share this episode with other introverted English learners who might need a little encouragement.
For more everyday empowerment and practical English tips, don't forget to subscribe. And check out the free PDF cheat sheet for this episode. It summarizes today's tips, vocabulary, and bonus listening practice, all in the description below.
Thanks for joining us today. Keep learning, keep growing, and we'll see you in the next episode.